Chosen one, pause for a second to calm your thoughts and widen your inner self. For the revelation I'm about to deliver will echo profoundly within the core of your being. There arrives a point when the miraculous interrupts the everyday, and this communication is tailored exactly for that critical instant. It concerns an unforeseen rendezvous with the Almighty at 3 a.m., a sacred interaction set aside for the most exceptional among us, the elite 1% who detect the undercurrent of fate in every inhalation they make. If you've experienced that subtle tug, indicating you're distinct from the crowd, that you harbor a holy mission deep in your essence, then you were led here deliberately to absorb this message. Before we venture onto this hallowed territory, perform 3 straightforward but impactful actions. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and post a comment including the number 777. Through these steps, you're indicating to the celestial realms that your soul is receptive, your belief is engaged, and you're prepared to enter the midnight period of fellowship with the Supreme Being. Envision your existence as it stands today, maybe balancing precariously between uncertainties and aspirations, with a segment of you craving a marker, something irrefutable that verifies you're selected for greater things. Now visualize that marker materializing during the most silent, most exposed hour of the night, a period when your guards are lowered and your inner self is highly attuned. 3 in the morning frequently serves as the hour when anxiety attempts to wander unchecked, murmuring that you're inadequate, that tomorrow looks grim, that your errors shape your identity. However, for the top 1% of the selected, 3 a.m. can transform into a portal to an extraordinary disclosure. In that tranquility, you perceive a nearness that's beyond earthly origins, an immense affection that eradicates every objection your intellect can formulate. For certain individuals, it manifests in a dream so lifelike that you wake up shaking, aware you've been contacted by something sacred. For others, it's a sound, a glow, or an image that cuts through the darkness, declaring you belong to me, and I hold intentions for you exceeding your imagination. Refrain from brushing off this event as simple daydreaming or the result of an overly vivid mind. The accounts of innumerable faithful across history confirm heavenly meetings in the least anticipated locations at the most surprising times. The motive behind the divine often selecting the obscurity of night lies in its ability to mute the clamor of the world, rendering your spirit unprotected against the gentle or motivating reality that you're observed, understood, and cherished by the Creator who crafted every celestial body in the heavens. In that delicate moment, the barriers around your heart collapse, creating room for a murmur from paradise that can alter the whole direction of your journey. If you've been pleading for a major advancement, for direction, or for a concrete sensation of the Lord's nearness, this could indeed be the indication you've desired intensely. Nevertheless, such a meeting carries significant weight. It imposes obligation. Once you detect the murmur, once you experience the touch of forever on your inner being, you can't revert to your previous way of living. You've been granted a peek beyond the veil, summoned to view a strategy for your existence that outstrips your most extravagant visions. Abruptly, the former justifications and terrors appear mismatched. You comprehend that you can't linger in the dim areas of uncertainty and indecision. This explains why the 3 a.m. gathering holds such power. It requires a reaction. Will you accept the reality that you're selected, among the 1% bearing a cloak of mission, or will you retreat to the soothing deceptions of a standard life? The decision rests with you, and that decision will echo across every facet of your coming years. In the time preceding this heavenly meeting, you may observe indicators that your inner self is restless. You might awaken in the dead of night for no apparent cause, a faint urging prompting you to reconsider your habits. Perhaps you feel an amplified consciousness that a major event is imminent, an opening, a change, or a wondrous reversal. Heed these indicators. The expression of the soul frequently communicates via unease, a mild agitation that pushes you to widen your vision both physically and figuratively at precisely 3 a.m. In that instance, your pulse might accelerate, your thoughts might whirl with inquiries, but don't fear, this is your summons to observe something celestial. It's within the weave of such instances that the Lord discloses himself with a sharpness that challenges human reasoning. He might utter one word that reveals the forthcoming decade of your life's route. He might present a sight of what your loved ones, your surroundings, or your society could become if you fully embody your intended role. This isn't the occasion for limited perspectives or hesitant requests. The scale of what you encounter in that meeting will overshadow every barrier that previously immobilized you. Suddenly, your constraints appear insignificant because the nearness you sense is boundlessly superior. Abruptly, the pains from before diminish in impact because you glimpse the restoration ahead. The 3 a.m. gathering represents a clash between your limited uncertainties and the Lord's boundless opportunities. Maybe you worry that you're unworthy of such an appearance. Allow me to assure you, merit isn't a requirement for mercy. The core of mercy is that it encounters you in your current condition, in your most exposed moment. The divine selects the 1%, not due to their perfection, but because they're receptive, eager, and desiring beyond worldly offerings. It's your readiness to declare, "I trust there's a superior vocation that prepares you for this meeting," even if you feel like you're faltering through existence, marked and wounded by letdowns. Understand that nothing of that bars you from a late-night appointment with the Supreme. In truth, it could be the exact cause you're picked to demonstrate to the world what mercy can achieve with a surrendered spirit. As you ready yourself for this appearance, anticipate a heightening of both difficulties and favors. Powers that previously overlooked you will now pay attention because your emerging spiritual sensitivity threatens the existing order. You might face sudden hurdles, monetary pressures, relational unrest, internal conflict. This isn't meant to ruin you, but to polish you, to examine the genuineness of your yearning for the Lord's nearness. Frequently, the deepest obscurity emerges right before the breakthrough. Stay resolute, for the obscurity sets the stage for the illumination to radiate in a manner that eliminates all uncertainty. When you come through these trials, you'll emerge with stronger assurance, recognizing that nothing can divide you from the affection that knows you personally. Throughout this phase, set aside periods of isolation. Engage in quietude during the late evening or early morning hours, calming your thoughts and inner self. Immerse yourself in expressions of belief, optimism, and vitality. The din of everyday activities, online platforms, and harmful effects can readily overpower the soft tone seeking to rouse you at 3 a.m. By fostering a serene, alert spirit, you simplify detecting the faintest murmur. And when it arrives, you'll identify it immediately because it bears a gravity of splendor no mortal tone can imitate. It vibrates in your core, releasing an unexplainable calm amidst any surrounding turmoil. This 3 a.m. gathering isn't a singular occurrence. It can initiate a continuing conversation between you and your Maker. The initial meeting might be intense, branding your spirit with sacred intensity, yet later ones could come like a gentle wind, nourishing your inner self with regular support. You'll discover insight emerging from areas of your mind previously untapped. Your nighttime visions may grow more intense, your gut feelings more acute. You might find answers to urgent issues appearing naturally in your inner self, requiring only your steps to bring them into reality. Via this persistent connection, you slowly evolve into the individual you were always meant to become. Don't be startled if your connections change. Some individuals may be attracted to your fresh radiance, intrigued and motivated by your shift. Others might feel intimidated or doubtful, opting to withdraw. Recognize that each person's path is distinct. While it may ache to watch some disappear, understand that your route is being cleared for optimal growth. Those intended to develop alongside you will stay, and you'll draw fresh partnerships sharing your outlook and thirst for elevated matters. This embodies the spiritual law of harmony. As your inner self rises, it draws toward others vibrating with your vocation, while those unable to handle the change organically separate, freeing room for profound, more intentional bonds. Monetary opportunities might also unfold in unforeseen manners because heavenly approval isn't confined to the spiritual domain. It affects every part of your existence. Perhaps you'll encounter a surprise advancement, a venture concept, or a monetary gain that defies logical accounts. This is one method the Lord validates the genuineness of your late-night meeting. He provides concrete evidence of His care to bolster the non-physical realities you've felt. Yet with this growth arrives duty. The assets you gain aren't solely for individual ease. They're instruments to broaden your reach, aid those requiring support, and advance the passion igniting within you. Manage them with careful oversight and thankfulness, recalling the source who provided them. There will be instances of uncertainty even following your view of the Lord's grandeur. The intellect often returns to reason, hunting logical justifications for what the spirit recognizes as beyond natural. Recollections of prior shortcomings might re-emerge, or you may wonder if you invented the whole event. This is where belief intervenes. Belief isn't without sight. It's forward-looking. It perceives past the tangible, stands solid on what was disclosed to your inner self, rather than current visuals. Whenever uncertainty arises, remember the undeniable serenity, the indescribable affection experienced in that 3 a.m. meeting. That recollection serves as a stronghold, protecting you from skepticism and maintaining your inner self afloat amid worldly trials. As you progress, you may detect a profound empathy developing within you. Once you've sampled the Lord's kindness at 3 a.m., you can't avoid viewing the world anew. You spot the unspoken pleas of those nearby, the hardships people face without optimism. You start to care unconditionally, to offer generosity without worry of scarcity because your source now appears infinite. This isn't just sentiment, it's the spillover from a spirit contacted by heavenly touch. Such care holds strength. It can shatter bonds of resentment, mend fractured ties, and even restore physical health when voiced in steadfast belief. In your silent times of contemplation, you might ponder why you, among everyone, were picked. You could notice your imperfections, your boundaries, and think certainly there are better-suited individuals. But the Lord's selections frequently confound human logic. He examines the stance of your spirit, not your history of successes. He perceives capability where others see weaknesses. He commits to you because he understands that once you fully comprehend your role in the 1%, you won't waste the offering. Instead, you'll expand it, benefiting numerous lives with the surplus of mission and insight you've obtained. Welcome that understanding. Let it strengthen without arrogance, for modesty marks those who genuinely accompany the divine. Your late-night meeting with the Supreme may also awaken abilities you were unaware of. It could involve foresight into future events, restorative touch, a guiding role, or inventive brilliance, seeds dormant in your inner self, stirring under the Lord's warmth. Abruptly, you perceive answers where others see issues. Your statements hold influence that penetrates indifference and disbelief. You might even deliver communications to unknowns, intuitively knowing precisely what their spirits require. This proves you've been distinguished, that your life is woven with a heavenly scheme larger than yourself. Don't conceal these abilities. Distribute them courageously, relying on the Lord to supply the stage and the effect. The surrounding world might appear turbulent, but that disorder underscores your vocation. In periods of shadow, even a modest glow can direct multitudes. Your 3 a.m. meeting places a lantern in your grasp, a signal of optimism piercing the swirling pessimism of contemporary existence. Individuals crave genuineness, something authentic and life-changing. Once they detect you've contacted the edge of forever, they'll heed your statements, observe your deeds, and evaluate the sincerity of your belief. This isn't an obligation but an honor. You become a breathing witness that the Lord still operates in enigmatic manners, still encounters people in the stillness of night, still utters fates into being. Naturally, your route won't lack obstacles. Emotional dips may alternate with spiritual peaks, particularly in the beginning stages of your evolution. The pull of former patterns can tug like attraction, yet each time you sense slipping, recollect the meeting instant. Remember gazing at the outline of a superior life where terror and narrow views no longer define you. The force that contacted you at 3 a.m. remains. It resides inside, awaiting activation by your belief and compliance. Let that truth eclipse temptations to return to a tepid state. If you've reached this point, consider this your verification. You stand at the edge of a heavenly revelation few undergo. The 3 a.m. meeting with the Lord isn't legend or simple symbolism. It's a planned engagement in the spiritual domain, a triggering occurrence that will hasten all in your life. From insight to resources, from sorrow to recovery, from uncertainty to firm assurance. Like this video, subscribe and comment 777 to indicate your preparedness. In doing so, you proclaim you're beyond a spectator in this narrative. You're an engaged contributor. You embrace the role of the 1% who venture to trust that with the divine, no time is too delayed, no period too wasted, and no vision too vast. In the silence afterward, you might sense an atmosphere of anticipation building around you, as if the universe itself awaits your reply. That's not fantasy. It's the harmony of paradise syncing with your inner self. The query is, will you affirm? Will you arise at 3 a.m. when you feel that prompting, even if weariness burdens you, even if reason insists on rest, even if uncertainties try to silence the summons? Recall, the selected route often demands giving up, like leaving the familiar to pursue the everlasting. Each giving up you make clears the path for favors beyond description. As you advance, you'll develop in spiritual command. Entrance is open not only in the physical sphere, but in the invisible one. Your pleas hold an impact you never anticipated. Your adoration alters the environment nearby. Wonders become routine, not because you're extraordinary in a worldly way, but because you've positioned yourself for the Lord's strength to channel through you. Become a container, a pathway for mercy, a representative of a domain surpassing earthly bounds. This is the outcome of your late-night meeting, the inheritance you'll pass to future generations. At times, you might doubt if you're capable of carrying the duty of being selected. Let me comfort you, your power isn't what will uphold you. It's the Lord's power working via you. The 3 a.m. meeting is His vow to prepare you for every worthy task. When barriers seem overwhelming, you'll remember the night He encountered you, the assurance that eclipsed your fears, and the relentless flow of care that lifted you. That recollection will energize your belief, reminding you that you don't face it solo. You may also sense a drive to share your account, to describe the marvels you've witnessed and sensed. Do it. Your statements could unlock another's bonds. Many roam seeking true optimism in a world that frequently seems fake. They require knowing the Lord still acts personally, meets His cherished in the night's hush, selects the most improbable to showcase His splendor. In sharing your experience, you solidify your own belief and extend a rescue to spirits desperate for authenticity. Speak freely. Let your zeal be unchecked, for in that openness resides the strength to transform existences. Most importantly, hold firmly to the reality that the Lord who rouses you at 3 a.m. is identical to the one who accompanied ancient holy figures and seers, who divides waters, calms tempests, and revives the departed. If He's summoning you, no power can block His design. He is the originator and completer of your belief, arranging every element so you might stand in wonder of His greatness. The era of partial efforts ends. Venture to surrender completely to this meeting, to blaze with a fervor that may seem extreme to those dozing through the midnight period. The distinction is, you've seen the supreme eclipse the mundane, and now the mundane will never satisfy again. Sense the thrill building. This isn't exaggeration. It's the awakening of fate in your veins. You can nearly detect the change in the atmosphere, feel you're at the threshold of something immense. Let that energy blend with your belief, forming an irresistible drive. The phrase chosen one isn't fleeting. It's your core self. You're selected to shatter restraints, reconstruct devastated areas, revive spirits grown frigid. You're picked to serve as a signal of optimism in an era craving illumination desperately. Let this instant be locked. Like the video, subscribe and comment 7B7 as your pledge. Then release the uncertainties, pretexts, and terrors that would bind you to inferior paths. The following time, the clock hits 3 a.m. and your inner self awakens. Don't delay. Rise, heed, and accept. What transpires in that hour could redefine your whole being, sparking an inheritance that resounds through forever. The 1% isn't about superiority. It's about readiness. Readiness to respond to the summons when it arrives, to encounter the divine on His conditions, at His moment, for His intent. Claim that readiness now and observe as paradise beams upon you with approval beyond calculation.